On this week's episode of Ride the Lightning, the Tesla unofficial podcast, this is it, the big one. I was at the Tesla factory for the Model 3 delivery event, and I want to tell you all about it. Here we go. What's happening, friends? Welcome to the 104th edition, one of the biggest and most special editions of Ride the Lightning, the Tesla unofficial podcast for July 30th, 2017, aka Model 3, the year 1, episode 1 AM after Model 3 is officially released. I'm Ryan McCaffrey, and what makes this episode particularly special is not only is the Model 3 real and it's out and it's in the wild, but I'm joined by a friend. I've brought a special guest with me. He is in town. You fellow Model 3 super fans probably know him from the Model 3 Owners Club website and his YouTube channel. Trevor Page.
Hey, folks.
Good to see you. You're in town. You're spending some time in the wake of the Model 3 event. Why not? You're going to come all the way to San Francisco. Why not make a little vacation out of it?
Well, that's the deal. I told my wife if we got an invite that we'd make a vacation out of it. San Francisco is always a place we wanted to come. And we're here, and it's just, I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh, it's a
I've been following you since day one.
I know, yeah. You and I spoke on the phone a long time ago, and it's been a heck of a journey. It's been a heck of a journey, and here we are. So, you who better to help me make sense of everything that went on at the Model 3 event last night and the information that followed than you. So I appreciate you being here, and let's just start. I mean, the event. It was certainly, having been fortunate enough to be at a few of these now, Tesla's clearly learned a lot of lessons. This was it was on time. They had a lot of prepared segments and things, and it was all very smooth. I was very surprised at actually how few people were there. It was basically all the people that had gotten enough referrals to do it, and not a lot of other folks. The media had been there earlier in the day, and then the employees were in a separate area down by the stage.
There were far more employees than there were other people there,
yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah, which is great.
Well, it's all about them. I mean,
yes.
At the end of the day, they put so much work and time and effort into this that this is really an appreciation thing for them. And it was nice to see so many people, and of course, them getting the first, 30 cars or so. They deserve that. I mean, they've worked really hard for this, and it was a good party. I liked it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the video yet, I'm sure Tesla will post it on their site if they haven't already. It's there was just a stage. It was literally in the back of the factory.
Yeah,
with Leilani Munter's customized Model S with the huge projector on top of it.
I didn't catch that at first until much later, and then I looked at it and thought, oh, that's that car. And then Elon finally said, yeah, that's what we're using.
Yeah, and it's just projecting the video stuff onto the wall of the back of the factory behind Elon. And Elon rolled up in a red, exactly what I would configure. The red Model 3 with 19-inch, what we can call them sport wheels. That's their official designation. And then over in the lot to the side, there were, I actually counted them, there were 40 Model 3s sitting there, which Elon had said 30 of them were for deliveries and 20 are validation
Yeah, they
prototypes.
said they made 50 total, and the first 30 deliveries and the rest were for validation and for test drives and all the other stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, all the colors represented. No surprises, it's all the same colors that we already have on the S and the X, everything we've already seen in the wild. And I know I don't know if you're making it public yet, but I know you finally have made your paint color decision.
I have. Well, see, the thing was I was really waiting to see all of the colors before I finally made my decision in person. And I'll be honest, I've always been enamored with the Alpha since day one. And silver,
it's $10,000 paint job.
Yeah, well, and so I finally made my decision. Yeah, I'm going to go with the silver metallic in the absence of titanium silver, which is hands down my favorite color.
It did not last long, really.
No, unfortunately, but I'm still lamenting that. But hey, a second choice. And my wife and I had many discussions about what colors, and she felt that blue was too trendy. and red would probably attract too much attention.
Right.
And for me, black is out of the question. Titanium silver might have been in the running, and blue is too trendy. So anyways, I just fall back to silver.
Good.
As long as I can get the white interior, I'm good.
Yes, which we did. Your guy in your test ride, your Tesla employee, did confirm that, and then it was on the website later.
Yeah, he did confirm that because I asked him I asked a lot of questions, very pointed, and he answered what he could.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's start. I've kind of broken this down, just made some notes here. Let's start with the specifications themselves. So. A lot of people, I think, fans optimistically were thinking there's no way Elon's going to allow the Bolt to have a higher base range, which is, Elon is a proud guy. He's in this for the planet, but he does also clearly enjoy being good at things as well. Look no further than the P100D blowing away every other car off the line. But in fact, 220 miles on the base model, which did exceed the 215 minimum that they laid out over a year ago.
At least he's honest about that.
But it is not higher than the Bolt. But as we'll get into, I'm not here to crap on the Bolt. I think it's very much serves a purpose, and it's a good thing for the industry and for the world. And I hope Chevy sells a lot of them. But if you are comparison shopping between a 3 and a Bolt, as we're going to get into, there's really no competition. And obviously, I'm a admitted Tesla fanboy, but there's a pretty big difference in fit and finish and quality between the two cars.
I agree with you 100%.
That, in my opinion, certainly offset the 18-mile difference.
Yeah, the Bolt has the Model 3 has a lot more going for it in a lot of respects, other than just range.
Yeah, but again, this is not a Bolt versus Model 3 show, so let's get just back to what we do care about, which is the Model 3. 220 base mile range on the base model, which will in fact be $35,000. They did keep their price on that.
That's right.
Keep their promise on that, rather. You look back to the Model S, they had originally said, we're going to build a $50,000 sedan, and technically they just barely pulled that off for 5 minutes before they said, let's discontinue that nerfed 40, that software locked 40 kilowatt hour model. And the S ended up quite a bit more expensive than what a Tesla had originally said. But to their credit, with Model 3, it does start for real at $35,000 before any incentives. It is a 5.6 second car to 60 miles an hour, which had also been revealed via your own scoop. In fact, when you broke that comparison sheet,
it was short-lived, but it came out. Yeah.
On the internet, an hour is a scoop. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then the larger battery. We're not getting kilowatt hour designations certainly not now, and seemingly not ever, because Tesla has said they want to move away from that and just focus on the range rather than the kilowatt hour number.
So I got the information on this because I asked about this, and what the Tesla representative told me is with this mass market car, in quotes, for the general public, they felt that this whole idea of kilowatt hour and trying to explain people battery and range and stuff was too confusing. So their narrative going forward with the Model 3 is range and range only. And that's why they're not going to be badging the cars. That's why they told me.
Which, the only thing that leaves me scratching my head about that, because I understand their logic there, but are they going to designate on the back of on the trunk? Are they going to somehow designate dual motor? Are they somehow going to designate performance? You know what I mean? So will there be some sort of, and not that I know it's just a kind of a little ego thing there on the back, but I do wonder if they're just not even going to bother, and they're just all going to be just stealth cars, and you'll never know what's in one.
Yeah.
We shall see. But what we're driving at here is the large battery, the long range Model 3, as it's been designated. I was very, very happy to be wrong on this. I was on this podcast saying I thought 275, 280. I really thought that 300 miles would be reserved for Model S because they've been really trying to create a distinction and a separation between those two cars. But no, Trevor, 310 miles.
High five.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, And that is a $44,000 base car, so $9,000 more, but that gets you 90 miles. That's a lot. To me, that says, tell me what you think about this. When I really started to digest that, to me it said they don't want anyone to buy the base model. They really want to drive everybody, and certainly I'm sure their profits are higher,
of course,
on the large battery car. They've made the distinction so large. Yes, $9,000 is nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of money, but it really says to me that they're doing everything they can to push people up to that longer range vehicle.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much been saying this right from the beginning. I mean, despite the fact that Tesla's been saying that this is supposed to be a mass market car, this is not an economy vehicle. True. This is competing against, BMW 3 Series, the Audi A4. I mean, there's a reason Elon has been saying and giving those examples out on purpose, because that is the target market. So if you go price some of those vehicles out, I mean, we're in that rarefied atmosphere for a lot of those cars. So, yeah, I'm with you, though. I'm very, very happy about the range. As a Canadian, of course, in the cold winter months,
we need it.
We need it. The cold affects the battery. So for us, that's a given. Now, all-wheel drive, we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah. The question so what 310 miles does for me, besides make me happy, is but looking at Tesla and the future of the product lines, who would buy? And this is a long-term question, not because there's a short-term situation here too. But who would buy a Model S 75 at this point, which is a 249-mile car, or as we're going to cover later in the show, discontinue the rear-wheel drive 75, so 259 miles on the 75D, and that's going to be about 1.5 times the cost of the $44,000 long-range Model 3. So I don't understand who the 75 in the long term is for anymore, because yes, it's a larger car with double the cargo volume, but boy, is that really worth paying such a premium over compared to a 310-mile Model 3?
Well, I think the obvious thing that's going to happen here, Ryan, is the CPO market's going to take off. There's going to be so many people now looking at that to compare against. So
yeah, good point. It's a good point.
Sorry, the used market. They don't call it CPO anymore.
Well, whatever we want to call it. Yeah, I guess I like that they just take the rough and dirty name. Like, that's used. It's fine. We don't have to dance around it by calling it CPO. The additional smile that was brought to my face was when I realized, oh yeah, dual motor will actually pump that 310 miles up even more. Likely another
5%
7 to 10 miles.
Yeah.
So we're probably looking at 315, 320 miles for the dual motor long-range Model 3, which is, you're almost into 100D Model S territory there.
Yeah, I think the other thing you got to keep in mind too is that is the upper range. So at your 90%, you're looking at what, 279, somewhere in there on the high end.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah. So that's still, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, that's some impressive day-to-day driving. Let's talk now about our overall impressions of both the interior and the exterior. We didn't really get to spend a lot of time up close with them on the outside necessarily, because there were none to just go look at, but there were test rides.
Yes.
So we got to be in the cars, experience the cars. I had really wanted to sit in the front seat because that's where I'm going to be spending all my time. I wanted to feel the front seat. I've been in the S and X recently, and boy, what is it, third or maybe even fourth generation seat?
Almost fifth
I think it
generation,
is now. It's such a comfortable, wonderful seat, particularly on the in my opinion, the ultra white. It just has a softness and a plushness to it. And I certainly had no designs of the Model 3 seat being that good, but I wanted to see if it would disappoint me in any way, or if it would feel good. And I liked it. I was able to ride in that front seat. The Tesla folks were very nice about it, and I thought it was very nice.
I was very, very impressed with the interior on this car. I mean, we've been seeing the pictures now for months, the spy shots and stuff. And, Tesla's been pretty honest with this car right from the beginning in terms of, what we're going to show is what we're bringing to production. minus some refinements here and there, little things that you may or may not see and stuff. Just before I got in the car, I was fortunate. I sat in the passenger seat. I was shotgun. I whipped out my magnet. And I touched the door panels. There's no attraction there. These are aluminum door panels on this car. So, take that as you will. But as soon as I got in the car, I put my phone down and I was just like a kid in a candy store. I touched everything, soft touch, everything. Everything is soft touch in the car.
Yes.
I was very impressed with that. Alcantara on the headliner.
Yes, I reached up and because I looked at it, I was like,
you could see the
it looks like it.
Yeah.
And then I touched it, and it was like, oh, that's definitely.
Now we have to keep in mind though, these are premium interiors. This is not the base car interior.
$5,000 package.
But the $5,000 package, we'll probably get into that.
We will.
It gives you a lot of stuff. So the interior on this car is a vegan leather, which is across the board now on all the Model S's. It was a nice, felt just like leather. The seat was very comfortable, very good bolstering on it. Yep. I would say probably almost as good as the latest generation seats. They're a different design, mind you.
Absolutely.
The center console is really interesting because not only you have the cup holders in the right place finally, but the cubby in the front, there's two of them, and they pop open. And the front one on the premium has two slots where you can slide in two phones.
Yeah, two phones. I believe it's only the one dock on
it's two USB
in the
ports. Yeah, it's two USB ports, and you can slide two phones in there.
Yeah,
which was really cool.
They were Lightning ports. They were Lightning connectors for which you could swap out if you have an Android. But and then there are two USB ports for the rear passengers.
Correct, and the vents are back there. I lifted up the center console and I stuck my hand underneath, and it's completely open, and you can actually reach in underneath the cubbies, the cup holders, and reach around. So it's completely open. Okay, now it's not big enough. Space. Now it's not big enough to stick a laptop in.
Right.
But for all your little junk, you can put that in there. I did open the glove box. It's shallow.
The S one is too.
Yeah. So that nothing really surprising there.
And I like too there was a little LED light inside the center console as well, so you can see in there. You don't have to rummage around in the dark because it certainly was dark while we were.
That's right. Test rides. Very impressed. They had ambient lighting inside the car, so in the footwells and the door pockets.
Yes.
Of course, the door pockets. We finally have door pockets. I mean, who doesn't put door pockets in the car? So we finally have that. Did you happen to notice the button on the door with the grab handle to open the door?
I didn't. They ended up when we disembarked. The Tesla employees opened the door for me, so I didn't get to try that out. But I did get to let myself into the car.
Oh, you touched the handle. I did the reverse.
I got to do the other way. And it actually pleasantly surprised me because, I knew how the cantilever system worked. You press in the fat side and then use the skinny side that comes out to pull the door open. But I thought it would be a completely manual process. But no, when you depress your thumb into the fat end of it, the door pops out.
Yeah, they're employing door poppers.
Yeah, and then you just take it the rest of the way which I thought was just a nice, again, premium kind of touch.
Yes, everything about the car and the interior, everything you touch, gives you a very premium feel in this car. I'll just talk really quickly because I know a lot of people are asking about this. The grab handles, because you can't see any, there's no levers inside the door to let you out. So where you rest your hand on the grab handle, you just move your thumb over about an inch, and there's a button there with a lighted, it's lit with an LED, and just push on it, and it just pops the door open.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's hidden. I mean, Tesla doesn't want buttons in this car. Everything is hidden.
They do not.
The hazard lights overhead.
I've never seen a car with them in that location, but it's fine. You barely ever use them.
And it works. And you look at it, and you do it, and you go, oh, that feels natural. Yeah. So it takes literally 2 seconds to get used to.
Yeah. The air vents, another topic of great discussion. A lot of some people driving themselves a little crazy online with the numerous sightings of release candidates with the windows down. People paranoid that the new slot doesn't work. It's not gonna. No, it's fine, and it's fascinating the way it works.
It is a brilliant design. This is really something different, but simple to use. So the way it works is the slit runs from side to side.
The entire
length,
dashboard.
The entire length. And when you press the HVAC, the little fan icon on the screen, it brings up this user interface that pops up. where you can control the usual things like the Model S, where you can control your fan speed and all that stuff. But what you get are two squares.
Yes.
Left and right, little crosshairs, and a little icon in the middle. And you can just move the little icon around in 3D space to orient the louvers.
Yeah,
the louvers,
where the air shoots.
Yeah, exactly. The louvers are electronically controlled.
Almost similar to how, for those of you that do have Model S's or Model X's, the way the premium sound works, when you can go in and configure where you drag the dot around where you want the audio to center.
It's exactly the same type of interface.
It's the same thing. And you can also you can merge them as well into one for just one central control.
Yeah.
And it's really great. So it's, you know,
it just shows that they put a lot of time and they paid a lot of attention to the system, and it actually did it right.
Yes.
I was able also to confirm that there is a defroster along the front, but it's hidden. You can't even see it. So, you know, the windows will be taken care of too.
Right. This had been eyed in spy shots. I was going to say spied in spy shots, but that's that's silly. Coat hooks.
Finally.
And they're tucked away nicely.
They're integrated right into the ceiling, and you don't see them until you push them and they just pop down.
Yep.
So finally.
So they're there, making their Tesla debut in Model 3. And then we talked about the Alcantara and how nice that feels and nice that looks.
Yeah, don't forget they're in the door inserts as well on the side, so there's a very nice premium touch feel there.
Yes. And the big one, certainly for me, I think you're on board this train as well. In love with the ultra white interior, it is coming for Model 3. It's confirmed.
Yes, I confirmed it. Before it even went up, I asked the guy, and he said yes, it's coming. So
yeah, I have to say, my test ride impressions, I certainly want to hear yours. Number one, I think I got his name, but in the sensory overload, it went in one ear and out the other. The gentleman who was driving us in my test ride was so nice and so open. He answered pretty much every question. He let me touch and play with everything. And then at the end, he offered. He was like, "Oh, if you want to see the frunk and the trunk when we park, we've got a minute. You can get out and take a look."
You're really lucky, because there was another YouTube video that's been circulating where one of the handlers got really upset when somebody stuck a camera in there.
Well, I was invited to do so, and I did. In fact, I have the video. I'm going to post it on. I guess I technically have a YouTube channel that I don't really use. My goal one day I've said I should just put all of my episodes on YouTube, just if people want to find them there. And I did a couple of them, and it's just been, it's not difficult. It just takes time to upload all that stuff. So I haven't had time to do anything with it, but I will put that on YouTube if people want to see my test ride. But yeah, the frunk, it's nice and wide, but it's very shallow. Don't expect a lot of miracles there. A couple, I'm not even sure a tall paper grocery bag would go in there.
Plastic ones would be okay.
Yeah, plastic ones would be fine. But
speaking
really,
of which, there's two hooks for grocery bags.
Yes,
they're integrated. Flip them down.
Yes, thought that was cool. And then my quick impression of the trunk was, no, it's obviously not a hatchback, but it seemed plenty deep and a pretty good size. And I'm used to my 11-year-old Infiniti, which has the shallowest. You just saw it today when I picked you up. It's not useful for when you have a family and you have
of course not.
You have things you got to. It was a single guy car. I bought it when I was 25 years old, and to me, my perspective is the Model 3 trunk seems totally
at least
fine.
you use the space.
Yes.
At least you have something. So.
Yes, and the seats will fold down if necessary as well. Those back seats.
Yeah.
Now the key card. I thought for sure Elon would address this on stage and talk about, hey, the way you get in and out of the car is pretty unique and different. Did not say a word about it in the presentation, which, by the way, I just want to mention, I did record the entire presentation. I'm going to put that audio at the end so that if you watch the presentation, you can just stop the show and you don't have to, you can save yourself the 15, 20 minutes. But if you missed it, you want to hear it, that'll be at the end of the show for you. Let's talk about this key card, Trevor.
Well, we've been seeing this now for some while, and the old saying, where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and that's certainly what happened. So as soon as I got in the car, I put my hand right in the cup holder, and lo and behold, there is the little booklet containing the key cards. I held it up, and I asked the driver, and he says, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I said, what is it? Bluetooth, NFC, or FRD? He said, no, it's NFC. So it's near-field communications. The primary entry method of the car, of course, is going to be the Tesla app on your phone, so it'll be proximity.
So seemingly Bluetooth then.
Yes, but the key card is a secondary way, and you can swipe it in front of the B pillar to unlock the car, and will also act as a valet card. So if you go somewhere, you can give it to the valet, and you have access to the vehicle. And don't forget, Master Plan Part 2, ride sharing, that might come in handy with that too.
Yeah, it's and I got to see it as well. My very, very kind driver I was like, can I see the card? And he pulled it right out, and there were 2 in the booklet. They were taped in with the VIN number written on the tape, just so they wouldn't get lost.
Get mixed up.
And they very much appear to be like exactly credit card sized.
Yeah.
Like meant to just go ahead and go in
Put
your
it in your
wallet.
Yeah.
So I still wonder. So I guess you won't be able to pop the I know, I'm not quite sure if you'll be able to pop. I guess you have to use the app to pop your trunk.
Most likely, yeah. The screen has a lot of buttons to open a whole bunch of stuff, and I didn't see if there was a button for the trunk. There's definitely for the charge port, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see about that, because there are certain conveniences that the Model S and X fob allow that I am wondering if those conveniences will be less convenient in the Model 3 situation. But with NFC too, I mean. New phones have NFC.
All modern phones have NFC.
And you were speculating ahead of the event, and since that that could be an Apple Watch, a smartwatch situation.
Well, I
too.
did ask the driver about the NFC situation. He said, "Well, I'm sure you can imagine all kinds of possibilities with NFC," and that's all he would say. So I think if they make the API available, I mean, don't forget there's already APIs for the Model S, and people have made watch apps where they can control the Model S. Yeah. So if they just extend the API to do it over NFC somehow, I'm not really into that kind of thing as far as Apple's concerned. But I mean, if they make it much like you can pay with things with Apple Pay, I mean, just wipe your hand in front of the B pillar and unlock the door with your phone or your watch. I mean, that's just another.
I'm hoping the Bluetooth will have enough, because NFC obviously, by its very literal names, near field communication. I'm hoping the Bluetooth will enable it so that I can get in my Model 3 just like I would an S, where I can just walk up to the car. I don't want to have to take my phone out and put it near anything or swipe anything.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping.
I asked Caleb about that, and he's much more technical about that kind of stuff. And he says there's a new version of NFC which is like 20 or 30 foot radius.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to be much of an issue.
Interesting. Okay, let's get to what we've been speculating and all been waiting months and months and months for, and that's pricing. We touched on it earlier with the $44,000 base price of the 310-mile long-range Model 3. So it turns out the hunger to get access to the design studio, Tesla has quelled it by throwing us some meat.
Yes.
By putting out the options pricing through the media. And we are looking at $5,000 for that premium package you mentioned, and that has what in it?
Upgraded, the vegan seat situation, the wood dash, 12-way adjustable seats, a premium sound system, ambient lighting. There's a few other things I can't remember quite this second. Oh, the all-glass roof.
Yes.
Let me see here. The LED
console.
Yeah, center console. The LED
fog lamps.
Yeah, fog lamps.
Oh, and that was a question. I somehow missed this until just now looking at it again to refresh us. I assumed this would be the case, but power folding mirrors.
Yes.
Thank God, because you're in my home. You now understand what you've been hearing on the show. My garage door opening is narrow. I need those mirrors to fold. It sounds silly to a lot of people, but it's actually critical to my. I don't want to have to manually do it every single day in and out.
Well, you're happy about that.
I'm very, very happy about that. I had speculated, I was given the vast simplification that's been going on, that we've been warned about with Model 3 options. I am pleasantly surprised there even is a premium sound system. That makes me very happy.
I agree with you 100% because I was led to believe that they weren't going to do anything like that. Now, what they're doing is that instead of, they're bundling everything together in one package rather than piecemeal.
Which they've just done with the S. We're going to get to that later in the show as well. So we've got $5,000 for the premium upgrades package if you want that. Presumably the standards, if you don't end up getting that, the standard seats will be a fabric, a textile, similar to the basic, the basic Model S or X seats. We have, of course, some people I think were hoping that Autopilot might be cheaper than S and X because it is a lower price car, but I know I had certainly thought no way because that's going to make all the S and X owners angry that they're paying more when it's the exact same system. And sure enough, exact same pricing, $5,000 for enhanced Autopilot, $3,000 up front if you'd like to pay up front for full self-driving. Are you going to pay up front or are you going to wait and just pay the full?
Well, I am completely in with enhanced Autopilot, full self-driving. I don't see myself getting into that until it's really ready. I'll pay the penalty if I really want it later on. Yeah,
I mean, theoretically, you could. I mean, if you're, I guess, a wise man of Wall Street, you play your cards right. If you maybe buy $1,000 worth of, you invest that money into Tesla stock, you might make the money back rather than pay the. And it really wouldn't be any kind of penalty, but that remains to be seen. I'm undecided on that because. I think it's going to end up being whatever the final bill of the car is, because I agree. I think full self-driving is a little farther off than a lot of us optimistic Tesla superfans want it to be, given that Tesla's just barely now coming to parity with Hardware 1.
And I think that's why they priced it like this, as a little bit of a lower tier, rather than saying, well, we're going to make it half and half or something. I think they priced it like this.
I agree with you there, absolutely. So then we have paint. Black is free, just like on S or X, but then the other colors, they're all $1,000. Pleasantly, pearl white multi-coat and red, my choice, multi-coat.
Still the same price.
No, less.
Yeah, well,
$1,000. Yes, same as the other. Those multi-coats are a little bit of a. You got to pay an extra $500. Yeah. You do not have to do that on the Model 3, which is great. It's $1,000 for any paint color other than black, and in fact, all the same colors that we've been seeing, like we talked about earlier. And then on the wheels, 18-inch those black Aero wheels, they are standard as speculated, and the 19-inch Sport, those turbine-style wheels. $1,500 was a pleasant surprise to me. I thought they would be more.
I agree. I'm glad to see that price. Now, about the Aero wheels, they're not as ugly in person as the pictures make them out to be. I mean, they're not my cup of tea.
Likewise.
But they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. The pictures always seem to make them look worse than they actually are. So.
I agree with you, yeah. Or have you decided which way you're going to go on the wheel
definitely
front?
Going for the 19s.
19s, yeah, me too. Those Sport wheels look so good. Just hoping that by the time they're ready to build my car that they're offering them in a dark gray or a black. Because I think on the S now, I adore those dark gray turbines contrasting off of that multi-coat red paint. I love the look of that.
Well, as I said before, I was always enamored with the Alpha, so I'm going completely Alpha look.
Absolutely. And I think, that was everything. So if you check every box that is currently on the menu, you come to $59,500 US. Of course, you are from Canada, so you've got the Canadian pricing situation is still a bit of a mystery with your exchange rate and what Tesla decide to adjust or not adjust. But $59,500 US for everything. Dual motor is coming. No word on performance. Nothing at all. I have a darkness inside of me that's afraid that there won't be a performance model. That's really going to be a separation between the S and the 3. I don't know.
I was in the impression on the spec sheet here on the press kit that they said that there will be future options coming in the future. And I know that somebody had asked Elon close by about the performance thing, and he really demurred to answer anything about that.
And part of me wants to be pessimistic and think, oh goodness, there is no performance version. But then a little logic kicks in. And it would also make sense if he simply doesn't comment on that because he's got Model S's he needs to sell now.
Correct.
Because if you get a bunch of guys like me who are kind of in that gray area between 3 and S, who I want that performance if in fact the price is right on it, but if he says it now, I'm gonna wait. Versus maybe I'd get tempted to buy a Model S in the meantime, which is what Elon wants us to do.
Sell what you have now.
Yes. So pricing for dual motor, I've said this before, I think you and I are on the same page with this. I think it's going to be $4,000, given that Elon had previously said on Twitter last year it would be less than the $5,000 it is on the S, but probably not that much less. So
no, I would agree with you on that.
So if our guesstimations are correct on that, that would put a loaded dual motor car, 320 probably mile Model 3 at 63.5
in the low 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, which is and that's with full self-driving. So that's with that $3,000 already rolled in. And remember too, I mean, the dual motor is going to shave 2, maybe 0.3 of a second off of that 0 to 60 time as well. So that's going to dip you into the high 4s. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a quick car.
Oh, well, there's nothing to sneeze at.
So those are the specs. That's the pricing. Now, I was feeling real good last night, Trevor. I thought I was so impressed with the car, with the fit, the finish, the feel, as you were as well.
No idea.
And the only thing that got me down was when I woke up this morning, and there is a delivery estimator on Tesla's website right now that you need to log into your My Tesla account where it's got your reservation number so Tesla knows where you are in the queue, and it will give you that. It will give you an estimate. And for me, I camped out West Coast, but I'm not an owner. I'm not an employee. For that dual motor that I am really dead set on. I know some people say, Ryan, rear wheel drive's great. You're in California. As I've said, I've driven both. I've driven an S rear wheel. I've driven an all wheel. There's no comparison. The all wheel is so much more. It's so much more fun. It just sticks like glue to the road. And if I want to take the family to Tahoe or somewhere in the wintertime, then all I have to do is throw snow tires on it, and then you're just good to roll. You don't need chains or any of that stuff. So the all-wheel drive is important to me. That extra range is a nice little bonus. So I am set on dual motor, but they are testing my patience, Trevor, because I was given an estimate of September to November of 2018.
That's a long way away. That's a year.
Another year and a little more. So, and really just general customer deliveries. If you just said, just give me what you got now, provided you want to take big battery. Looks like November is going to be the soonest that any non-Tesla employee sees a car.
Yeah, I've always estimated that availability for my particular configuration that I'd like to have would be in the spring of next year. Of course, being in Canada and stuff, we're a little behind on deliveries and stuff because of geographically what they plan on doing. And, I always thought if all-wheel drive was going to be available based on Elon's comments in the past being 6 months, put us in the spring, that I would maybe spring for it, so to speak. But I'm not completely sold on all-wheel drive for me. That's just a personal preference.
Sure, absolutely.
And for me, it's mostly a timing thing because I have a lease that expires in April, and I did that on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it may just work out in my favor. And, if my ticket comes a little sooner, I have to make a decision as to do I wait a little longer or do I jump on? I think it's a financial thing, too, because I don't want to be paying for two cars for too long.
That's true.
But I timed my lease on purpose to end in April, thinking that Tesla was going to need some time to ramp up and stuff. So
yeah. Now, Elon did tell the media, there were a lot of first drive reviews. He told the media that over 500,000 reservations now. That was our first update in a long, long time. 500,000 people on the waiting list, and he says they're still doing everything they can to not sell it. Those were his words. To not sell it, so
and don't forget, it's going to go up even more once the cars actually show up on the roads, and the uninitiated see them.
Yes.
and go, what is this? And then they go and rush make a reservation.
Yes.
So we haven't seen the end of this.
Very, very true. Now, USA Today reported, though they didn't cite a source, they didn't say Elon Musk said or Tesla Motors told us. USA Today reported that Tesla has 79,000 cars left to go before they hit the the 200,000 car production number to trigger the phase out of the United States $7,500 federal tax credit. So we can't take that as gospel, given that USA Today, I mean, they are a reputable, it's not like just some Joe Schmo blog saying this. Mm-hmm. It is USA Today. But 79,000 left. I presume that number was probably after Q2, which is basically where we are anyway.
Right.
Tesla has, their goal is to deliver 50,000 cars in the second half of this year.
Well, produce 50,000 cars.
Right.
Worldwide.
Right. And you just hit on the exact point, worldwide. Mm-hmm. Not all of those cars will go to the U.S., and that 79,000 figure is only
for the U.S.
Only matters for the United States.
Yeah.
So it would seem that if that is correct, we're looking at the trigger, the 200,000 mark, it will be hit. Possibly Q1, hopefully if Tesla plays their cards right, whether they need to batch and ship a bunch of cars to Canada, for instance.
Or hold back deliveries in the U.S., of course.
Q2 possibly.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because if they hit it in Q2, that means they get Q3 and Q4 as the full tax period, tax rebate grace period before Q1 2019 and Q2 2019 see it get cut in half, and then Q3 and Q4 down to 25%, and then 2020 it's gone. But given, Trevor, that I'm so fixated on this dual motor car, mm-hmm. I'm in a rough scenario there, because if they hit it, if it triggers in Q1 and thus expires in Q3, that September to November timeframe, I'm going to be sweating some bullets there, because that's $3,750 on the line. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I think, just kind of answer some of your questions, I think Tesla's acutely aware of this. They don't like to talk about it too much. Yeah. They don't like to talk about it too much. I mean, Elon's hinted in the past through a tweet that they wanted to do the right thing, and I'm sure they're acutely aware of that. Only they really know what their production plans are and how they can not game the system. That's the wrong word to be using. But they want to do the right things for customers to try to get as many people to get into this. So, I have faith that they will try and do the right thing for people as much as possible.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. They've been a company that's always tried to do the right thing. They don't necessarily always succeed, but most of the time they do. So hopefully that will be the case. So any final thoughts on Model 3 before we move into the rest? There's actually more Tesla news this week, believe it or not, a lot more, because some significant things happened, of course, right after I recorded last week. But what do you say, Trevor? How do you feel about Model 3 today versus when you woke up yesterday? What did the event do for you? Did it enhance your excitement? Did it diminish it? You still feeling the same? Where are you?
I'm feeling even better now than I ever did. I mean, I was down here a month and a half ago, and I got to see the Alpha. Seeing the car in person was great. It cemented the size, the design of the vehicle. Now, actually having ridden in it and seeing how quiet it is and seeing the interior, I'm totally sold. The fit and finish on this car, they finally nailed it. Tesla has their collective you-know-what together on this.
Yeah, I agree completely. That event last night was fantastic. I was just so grateful to be there. I mean, I was only there because one person kindly gave me their referral code to give out on the podcast to even get to that point, and whatever it took, 7 people used that referral code to qualify me to get in. So I'm very grateful to my audience for allowing me the opportunity to be there last night, because Trevor, you and I were talking about this a little bit last night. Maybe this is going to prove to be a drastic overstatement, and someone will play this back in years and years and laugh at it. But maybe not. And what that is it's entirely possible that you and I are going to look back on that event that we were so grateful to get to attend in 20, 30 years from now and say, we were there. When it all started to change, that tipping point, we were there, we witnessed it.
I would agree. I mean, there was certainly a lot of palpable energy there last night. I mean, the sheer amount of people seeing the car, seeing that it's real, and finally that Tesla's actually on time. And they weren't lying. They were being honest about the car and the whole, and their timing and what they were going to deliver. Very, very happy. So yeah, time will tell. But eternally grateful to PJ, of course, and Kim at the Like Tesla channel, who made Canonard their +1.
Yes.
I mean, without that, I would not be able to be there. So yeah, special shout out to them. I was very thankful for that.
Absolutely. So Model 3 is here. It's real. Now it's a matter of when will I see my first one running around the streets of San Francisco, because I'm lucky to live here in home base.
Ground zero.
So it's going to happen. And yeah, it's just going to be great to start see them hitting the streets. And a milestone has been hit. The car's out now. You and I, Trevor, enter the home stretch of the anticipation phase.
Well, I've always told people, if you think the wait is bad now, wait till you put your configuration in and you confirm.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. But it's just the next step in this crazy, enthusiastic Tesla journey that we're on, because even when that day comes where it is finally in my garage right downstairs, that's just the start of the next chapter. When Absolutely. I get to go out and live a EV life and do more road trips and just be in the safest, hopefully best car, what will turn out to be the best car on the planet, much in the same way that the Model S is. So, all right, quick breather here, real fast, and then we'll talk about the Model S news from this week. All right, let's continue more Tesla talk with Trevor Page from Model3OwnersClub.com and on YouTube. Model 3 was not the only news of the week, though it certainly was the biggest. Right after I recorded last week, Tesla made some significant changes to the design studio. They have in fact added thousands of dollars of value, particularly to the S, Trevor, without increasing the price of the car. And I suspect this is to further entice people to go ahead and buy an S. Don't wait for the 3.
Yeah, some clear delineation here of products.
So interestingly, the silver turbines, the 21-inch turbines on the S and the silver 22s on the X are gone. Instead, only the dark gray, or in the X's case, that onyx black, is the only large wheel color available now, which that surprised me, because those have just been a signature option on the car, those sort of classic silver turbines, since the car launched. Mm-hmm. So I was very surprised to see that. I guess Tesla only does these things because it's more efficient to do so. So I guess the silvers must not have been selling.
Well, it's just like paint colors, right? They eliminate paint colors that don't sell.
Yeah. So you're gonna, if you buy an S or an X and want those, you're probably gonna have to get them after market now. Find somebody that downgraded to the smaller wheels to sell you theirs. Here's the big one: Smart Air suspension. It's already standard on all the Model X's, but on the Model S, it was only available on the 100D or P100D. That's been for the last few months. It is now standard. Again, with no price increase. That was a $3,000 option previously when it was available. It is now standard on every Model S as well as the Model X. So that's a very significant upgrade.
That is a significant change.
Yeah, because you saw my driveway. I really want to be able to raise that car to just get over my little hill hump thing on my way into the driveway. So we'll see if the 3 can deliver for me there by the time I'm ready to configure. But elsewhere, the towing bar, which used to be an option on Model X, is now standard. And here's a curious thing, and shout out to my friend Greg for noticing this. He just became a Model X owner after trading in his S. If you go on the design studio on Tesla's site for the Model X, the passenger door of the X with the premium package appears to no longer be a self-presenting door anymore. When you go in there, the render only shows the driver door, and the wording has been adjusted to say self-presenting front door that opens automatically as you approach and closes when you press the brake pedal. So I don't know if this still means, because there's the button to open or close it certainly from the interior, and if you press the button on the passenger side of the X, if you press the door handle, it does open up for you. I mean, it doesn't automatically open. There's no invisible person there to open it for you the way there is on the driver's side. But I wonder, have they just eliminated that passenger side functionality for some reason or another from the X?
Well, it's pretty easy to make a spelling mistake, but it appears to be the case.
So that is a seemingly unique change. Another big one, because of course everybody's got their preferred interior color. You and I are ultra white folks. Mm-hmm. The tan interior is gone. There is no more tan option for S or X, and instead cream, which we haven't seen in person yet. You only have the render to go by on the design studio, but it appears to be kind of an off-white, which I suspect kind of is aimed at pleasing both the tan crowd and the people that like gray. Gray has been discontinued as an interior option for some time.
I always liked the gray. That was
Me
nice.
too. Yeah, my car now is a gray, and my DeLorean was gray interior too. It's kind of a neutral. It's not too dark, it's not too light. But yeah, cream is the tan replacement. That cream interior, by the way, is paired with light headliner as well as light carpeting, which is in stark contrast to when you do go ultra white, you get black
I'm sure
carpeting
that's your hope
and black
too,
headliner.
to get the black headliner. Yeah,
Yes,
me too.
I love how it makes those ultra white seats pop even more.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So that's my hope there. And then one other note on the seats, of course, a lot's been made about this this week, because it turns out there's a lot of people who are very, very big fans of leather, and they really, really like leather. Leather is no longer available in any Tesla. It is the synthetic material only. The same material that is the ultra white seats in the S and X is now, they have it in black, should you choose black interior, or this cream, because the design studio lists them as black premium seats or cream premium seats. There is no mention of leather anymore. And I've seen a lot of people, Trevor, that are actually like kind of weirdly angry about this. Like, no, I want leather in my car. But it comes back to, you've got to try the synthetic.
Yeah.
Feel it, sit in it. I think it might actually be better.
There's been a lot of discussion about this, of course, on the forum. My personal opinion, and this is my opinion, that I've experienced both the leather and cloth seats in various cars that I've owned over the years. And the multi-pattern black seats in the Model S are very resilient. I like them. I would prefer that over the leather.
Yep.
My current Lincoln has leather interior, and even though the car is just over 2.5 years old, it's already showing signs of wear and cracking, even though I take fastidious care of the car. And interestingly, the press kit or the spec sheet on the Model 3 on the Tesla page specifically points out the fact that this new leather synthetic thing that they're putting into the Model 3 is specifically designed for Tesla.
Interesting.
So it's not just your run-of-the-mill fabric, whatever. It's specially designed for them. So if they're anything as soft as the Ultra White, I'm perfectly happy. They were. I mean, I could not tell the difference when I sat in the Model 3 yesterday. I thought they were leather, even though I knew full well they were vegan or synthetic.
Yeah,
they're wonderful. So I hope they hold up well. But they're very nice. I'd be hard pressed to find any difference from most people to tell the two.
Yeah, and I guess to be fair, that is the big unanswered question with this switch to synthetic: is how will they hold up long term? We know how leather holds up long term. It can wear, but if you care, it can also be well cared for. Will the synthetic hold up long term? Because the oldest synthetic Teslas out there are 1.5 old X's. Mm-hmm. So that's not particularly old as of yet. What else? We got the premium package on the S, what we can now, with hindsight, say was foreshadowing the Model 3, the premium package has been revised. The premium sound upgrade, as well as the Sub-Zero cold weather package for you Canadian friends up there.
Nice to have.
They're no longer a la carte options. They've been rolled into the premium package, which has been increased to $5,000 US. It was $3,500. However, that is a way better value because the premium audio was $2,500 and the Sub-Zero package was $1,000. So that's $3,500 of value added to for an extra $1,500.
Yeah, this is a really good deal. I should mention, it just reminded me here, the premium package on the Model 3, one of the things it does add is heated rear seats.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, so that would indicate to me that that would be your Sub-Zero, which would mean you get the heated steering wheel as well.
That makes a lot of sense, absolutely. And then the LED cornering lights, which had been part of the premium package, actually were removed from the premium package on the S and the X. They're now standard, as are lighted door handles, which you don't really think a lot about, and it's a super little thing, but those little LED lights that when your door handle presents itself to you on Model S at night, you've got a light there. So that's a nice little touch that is now standard with every single car. Also, I did notice the back seat design very, very slightly refreshed in the Model S. The seat back has been just tweaked a little bit. No one would probably ever notice, but I guess that's the kind of stuff that Franz von Holzhausen meant when we got to go to the Franz Q&A at the factory in early June. He said, when he did the Q&A, one of the things he said was, "I work on Model S." Somebody asked him, "Well, what do you do every day?" He said, "Well, I work on Model S every single day." And that's the kind of thing,
constant tweaks,
that he was talking about there. To me, I mean, this screams to me, Trevor, of Tesla simplifying the manufacturing process, which has been they've just been dead set on this goal for ever since the Model 3 demand went through the roof and freaked them all out. They're minimizing the number of possible total configurations, the big bundle, and it did indeed prove to be a preview of what would happen with Model 3.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned earlier, that base Model S really gains significantly more value. I kind of covered most of it, but just that, again, in the last 30 days, you've seen the 0 to 60 time have a second shaved off of it. Is now 4.2 second car if you get the dual motor. Mm-hmm. For the base Model S. You've got that smart suspension not only available again, but included. Those LED turning lights, the backseat design refresh, etc. And then that the premium package had its value increased. The Model S is if you order today, you're getting a lot more car than you got 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on the fence, you might be extra tempted now. And on this note, Electrek first broke this story. I want to give them the credit, but the rear-wheel drive Model S will be discontinued very soon, which is not in the least bit surprising given the direction the company's heading. It's been pretty clear that Tesla wants to build nothing but all-wheel drive cars. They've been pointing in that direction for quite some time. So that means when that discontinuation happens, the cheapest Model S will bump up to $74,500 US, which creates that separation between the fully maxed out Model 3. Even if we roll in our estimated $4,000 dual motor option, that is about a $10,000 spread between the maxed out Model 3 dual motor and the bottom end Model S.
It seems that they've been working very tirelessly over the last year with all these little tweaks just to get ready for this moment. Yeah. Just do it, rather than do it all one big swoop, just kind of like keep working on it and just spread them out.
Indeed. I do think if performance happens, the performance tax, as it were on the S, is like a $30,000 upgrade to go P100D from 100D. So I got to figure, if we do get a performance Model 3 variant, figure maybe a $20,000 premium, which would still take a performance Model 3, 310, 320 mile car up to maybe, let's call it mid-80s. So you're still, that would be a real nice, that would be an interesting zone to be in.
That'd be a very quick little car.
Yeah, that will be. So I'm very curious what's going to happen there. And did you see this thing earlier this week, Trevor, as well, that there have been a handful of 75s that are shipping with 85 kilowatt hour battery packs.
Back to the old software lock thing.
What do you think Tesla? Do you think Tesla is sort of trying to future-proof the bottom end S's against the long-range Model 3?
Yeah, I think what's going on here is we're seeing, so again, more further separation between the cars and really streamlining here because there's going to be some changes coming to the Model S, I think, in due time. So yeah, they're just rejiggering the whole product lineup to make some space in there.
Yeah.
So efficiencies, right? Absolutely.
Wherever Tesla can find them, they are going to take advantage of them. I wonder if first of all, if this will prove to be widespread, because this has been a handful of cars discovered so far. We need a larger sample size before we can make any definitive conclusions here. But I wonder if the 75 kilowatt hour battery will be just on its way out entirely, and they'll bring back the 85 as the bottom end Model S in order to, again, create that separation between 3 and S.
Yeah, well, if you just take it at face value, you look at the Model 3 and you just figure maybe the low end battery pack is, say, 55 kilowatt hour,
right.
High end one is 75, then you still have a 75 Model S. Well, why not just bump it to 85? We got rid of the 90, so now we have 85 and then you have 100. So there's a pretty good spread right there.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. All right, last story, and then I promise we will stop yapping in your ear. It's been a long show, but it's been a big show. In fact, going to go ahead and just skip the Ride the Lightning hotline this week because we've already been yammering for so long. But what that means is I will do it next week, of course, and please call in. I want to hear your reactions to the Model 3. What do you think? Are you more interested, less interested? You feel the same about it? Please call in with your Model 3 reactions. The toll-free number for the Ride the Lightning hotline, as you know by now, it's 1-888-989-8752. That's 1-888-989-TSLA. Or you can simply record your question on your smartphone and email me that file. The email address is teslapodcast@gmail.com. Now, Trevor, one other over-the-air update has benefited Tesla again. The Model S has been re-awarded Consumer Reports' top safety rating after a software update last month enabled automatic emergency braking on Hardware 2 cars, and then that was a big criteria. And Consumer Reports said, okay, well, without that, we can't give you the top safety rating, and but now that you have it, here you go.
The wonders and the love of over-the-air software updates.
That is crazy. I have to imagine this has never happened in Consumer Reports history before, this sort of back and forth with something on the same car. Right? That can't possibly have happened.
Who else is going to do something like that?
Exactly. So Consumer Reports did issue a statement here saying, Consumer Reports engineers then verified at our test track that the automatic emergency braking operated at higher speeds by driving the electric Model S at a target that mimics the back of a car. We also verified that Tesla had sent the software update to its other cars by checking online forums and inspecting cars at Tesla dealerships. This is kind of almost seemingly a silly little thing. It's an award, but hey, kudos to Tesla for getting this right, for obviously getting that functionality into the cars. And kudos to Consumer Reports for saying, okay, great, well, here you go. We're not going to make you wait a year, or here's your top safety rating back.
It's excellent to see this.
All right, my friend. Well, that wraps it up. We did it.
It was awesome.
We did it. I want to make sure, give you some time to plug yourself here. If people have enjoyed you, if they haven't heard you prior to today on this podcast, where can we find you? What are you up to?
Well, I'm very active on Twitter, and my Twitter handle is @Model3Owners. We also have the online forum, and you can find that at model3ownersclub.com. The YouTube channel is pretty easy. You just go to youtube.com/, and you can just type model3ownersclub.com, all one word, or you can just search for it.
Yeah.
Those are the best places to find me for sure.
Fantastic. You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. If you are purchasing, if you are enticed by the Model S improvements and you want to buy one, we've got Gordon from Hawaii, his referral code for you that's going to get you $1,000 off of your S or X, as well as that free unlimited lifetime supercharging. So use the short link, punch this into your web browser, ts.la/Gordon1872. I'm also on Patreon, as I know you are as well. If you appreciate the efforts here at Ride the Lightning, would love it if you'd at least take a look at the Patreon page and decide from there whether or not you want to just click away or click further into it. It's patreon.com/Tesla Podcast. And I want to thank the Patreon producers, the very, very kind souls that support me at the $20 or higher level each and every month. Those kind souls are Jeff Bartram, Paul Hussey, DJ Harbaugh, Pete White, Wolfgang Obergen, George Cassiopo, ZL Klein, David Brander, Jonathan Wales, John Waltauer, Scott Gillis, Michael Lucas, Alexi Heft, Lisa Kaz, Michael O'Prey, Logan Willis, Matthew Parra, Michael Lester, John E. Ford, Robert Miracle, Kyle Stover, Vince Vaughn, John Lasher, Harold Plug, Jason Chalukas, Charlie Payne, Emotion Rentals, Richard Ouellette, Andreas Cohen, and Sean Fournier. Thank you all so much. And the last plug, of course, the kind crew at Abstract Ocean. If you want to equip yourself or your Tesla with Tesla accessories, a lighting kit perhaps for your car, a lanyard for yourself maybe, we got a coupon code. Go to abstractocean.com. Use the coupon code RTL Podcast. That's all one word, RTL Podcast, at checkout to get 20% off of your order. Trevor, it has been an absolute delight doing the podcast with you.
It was really great having me here. I really appreciate you having me on the show. And now I get to start my vacation with my wife in beautiful San Francisco. It's been a lifelong thing.
Yes. Enjoy the city. The clouds are just starting to break here at 1:34 p.m. That's about right. You'll have a few hours of sunshine to play with. So for the wonderful Trevor Page, I am Ryan McCaffrey. This was Ride the Lightning episode 104, the big one we've been waiting a long, long time for. Model 3 is released. We're excited. There's a lot to chew on, and we're just getting started. That's the thing. It's this podcast has, in a lot of ways, been building up to this point. But as I said, this is only a checkpoint. We have cleared a checkpoint. There's a lot to go between now and when we get our cars, and then the adventure begins anew. So stick with me. I'll be here for you each and every week, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, for your new episodes. Thank you all so much. Happy electric motoring, and I'll see you next week.
All right. Hey, everyone. So, for those that are watching this online, just a couple things I want to point out before I go into the presentation. The projector that is producing that image is powered by a Model S. There are no wires. So that is a projector on a Model S with the energy coming from the battery pack, and that is what's producing that image. And that is the factory. Like a lot of people may not realize, that is actually part of the factory. That is not a screen. And the people in the audience are the people that have designed and engineered and built the Model 3. All right, so let's talk about what goes into making the Model 3. It starts off with design. So congratulations to the design team. You've done a phenomenal job. I've enjoyed working with you every week. You guys are amazing. Nice work. So there are many elements of the design. It's difficult to actually say exactly what makes it good, but except to say that we agonize over every curve, over every detail, every corner, every element of the interior, the exterior, including things that people probably won't even notice. We care about every part of it. We aimed for something that was a very simple, clean design, because I think in the future, well, really, future being now, that the cars will be increasingly autonomous. So you won't really need to look at an instrument panel all that often. You'll be able to do whatever you want. You'll be able to watch a movie, talk to friends, go to sleep. Every Tesla being produced right now, the Model 3, the Model S, the Model X has all of the hardware necessary for full autonomy. And I think a lot of people still don't realize that. It's got the 8 cameras, it's got 12 ultrasonic sonars, it's got the forward radar, and it's got over 10 teraops of computing capability. Let's go more into the interior. So one of the challenges with the car was, since it is smaller than a Model S, how do we make a car that is smaller on the outside, bigger on the inside? So we took an idea from the Model X, which was the canopy screen that makes you feel like if you're in a Model X, it makes you feel like you're flying a helicopter. It really has this amazing feel. And we turned that around, put that on the rear of the Model 3 so that you could still have a great deal of rear headroom and have this amazing view while being in a smaller car. It's actually one of the toughest design challenges of making the Model 3. And then in terms of engineering the car, we had to engineer it to be a lot easier to build. The Model S is an amazing car, but it's very hard to build. So we had to get the part count down, design it still to be light, but also to make it affordable. And I think that the team's done an amazing job of that. And then where this really shows up is in things like safety. So let's take a look at the safety video. So on the one hand, you've got a car that is one of the safest cars in the world, a Volvo S60. Yeah. So there are a lot of cars that say they are 5-star, and they are sort of 5-star. That's not a scientific metric, but even though they are something like the Volvo, great car, by normal standards, very safe. The Volvo is arguably the second safest car in the world. But I think it is obvious which car you would prefer to be in an accident. So the first and foremost for the engineering of the car was safety. Then, in terms of production, the thing that's going to be the major challenge for us over the next 6 to 9 months is how do we build a huge number of cars. And frankly, we're going to be in production hell. Welcome. Welcome to production hell. That's going to be where we are for at least 6 months, maybe longer. But you guys know that you're veterans. I've been through this. So I look forward to working alongside you to journey through hell. And as the saying goes, if you're going through hell, keep going. Just to give you a sense of the size of the factory, we've got our Fremont car factory, where we are right now, is the second largest footprint building in the world. And that's going to ultimately produce 500,000 Model 3s and about 100,000 combined S and X vehicles, and maybe more if we can do it. But it just gives you, I want to give you a sense of the scale and how much has to go right. So then a frequent question I get asked, I noticed it popping up on Twitter quite a lot. Where is my Model 3? Sometimes not phrased quite as nicely as that. Well, we're building the cars as fast as we can. We're going to drive this ramp as hard as we possibly can. I have here a chart, so if you had trouble falling asleep, then this chart might help you. The point is to give you a sense of how manufacturing actually works. There are 10,000 unique parts in a Model 3, and these are coming from all over the world. About 2/3 come from North America, and about 1/3 from the rest of the world. But as you can see with this chart, which looks like we're being shot with ICBMs, like that is the ICBM chart, actually. Save us, exactly. Well, we need missile command. Where's the missile command button? But almost anything that goes wrong anywhere in the world, if we haven't buffered the supply chain, will interrupt the production progress. When you have 10,000 unique items in a vehicle or any object, any one of them can slow down the production process. So the production rate will move as fast as the slowest and least luckiest component in the whole mix. Then on top of that, we have the Gigafactory. So this is just a stop motion. We started off with there being nothing. There was just a sort of desert, and built what is now it's actually now the largest battery factory in the world. And when it's done, we'll produce more lithium-ion batteries than the rest of global production combined for one building. So, yeah. So, in fact, let's go to the Gigafactory live, see if we can connect to them. Hey guys. So we have a whole bunch of people in Nevada that are helping make the battery pack, and the motor, the powertrain, and so we've got giant factory making battery packs and powertrains, giant factory making cars, and giant supply chain. And so all of those have to work together in cadence in order to get to our initial target of 5,000 cars a week, and then hopefully by the end of next year towards 10,000 cars a week. And then you're probably wondering, okay, will I be able to charge my car? Well, this is like probably the second most common question I get on Twitter, like, the supercharger is full, what is wrong with you? Why are you such a huge idiot? I'm like, sorry. Okay, we are tripling the number. By the end of next year, there will be 3 times as many superchargers as there are today. So that should really help out a lot. Essentially, you'll be able to go almost anywhere, North America, Europe, Asia, Australia, and many parts of Asia and the Gulf area by the end of next year. Eventually, you'll be able to go anywhere on Earth. Woo! Yeah. So, thank you. And actually, technically, you can go anywhere on Earth, because anywhere on Earth where there's electricity, you can charge your car. So the supercharger is just about being able to charge a car really fast. Okay, so let's talk about the specs for the Model 3. There are 2 main variants. There's the standard and the long range. The standard, well, is going to be $35,000 for a 220-mile range. It's going to be a fast car. So the acceleration will still be well under 6 seconds, 130 mile an hour top speed. And then you can also get the long range one, which will have a range of 310 miles. Yeah. And be about roughly 5 seconds 0 to 60, 140 mile an hour top speed. So it's going to be a really great car. I think you will not be able to find a better car, gasoline or electric, in that price range that is anywhere near as great. All right. So let's hand over some cars. We have the first 30 production cars here being charged right now, right there. Oh. Hey guys. All right, so, hey guys. those are actual owners getting actual production cars. Woo! Hey. So there's actually, let's see, there's actually a total of 50 production cars that we've made this month, and 20 of which will be used for engineering validation, 30 of which will be on the roads with customers. And I want to just say to those that have lined up to buy a Model 3 and that in some cases spent days outside of our stores to be first on the list. I just want you to know that really matters to us. We really care. And we're going to do everything we possibly can to get you the car as soon as possible. So we're going to work day and night to do right by the loyalty that you've shown us. Thank you for doing that. And then just a reminder, we've got now 3 cars in production. There's the X, the S, and the 3. Those letters can be combined however you'd like. To give you a sense, if you order a Model 3 now, you'll probably get it towards the end of next year. But because the S and the X are in production, if you order them now, you can get them in about 1 or 2 months. And as I'd like to thank all the customers who own a Model S and X, and those who buy a Model S and an X, because in doing so, you make the 3 possible. The money that we make with an S and X all goes into building a Model 3. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for our longtime supporters. And thank you guys for making it. Thank you.